Hey everyone, I wanted to really quickly do a tutorial on how to rotate images to make them easier to compare. This uses Gimp, but you can use any photo editing software that you like. The tools are very similar. We're going to go to File and then Open as Layers, and we're going to find our images. Here I have Mars Early, so I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to hold down Control and click Mars Late, and that selects two files for me to compare. We're going to click Open. And because we did open as layer, it's actually going to put them both on different layers. And we can see Mars late is on the upper layer. And if I make that invisible, you can see Mars early. Clicking this little eyeball icon here will let you switch a an image to, or a layer to on or off. Now the reason we want to do this is because of this. This is the ice cap of Mars. And in the early image, it's over here. But in the late image, or sorry, in the late image, it's over there, but in the early image, it's over here. Right? Now, when I ask students, how much does Mars rotate? A lot of students will go like, oh, well, this cap went from here to here, so that's the rotation, right? That's not the rotation. That's not what we're talking about. So what we actually want here is to look for features. On this early image, we've got this little feature here. And on the later image, we have that feature over here. And that makes it pretty easy to identify how much of a rotation has gone by. Now, it is much easier to do this if your two images are set to the same rotated orientation. Our planet is rotating this way. So we want to line up the two poles. We want to make sure that the poles end up in the same spots. And the way to do this is to go over here on the right-hand side, this opacity slider, make sure you are clicking the upper layer and set the opacity to 50%. Right? This only works if you do the upper layer. If you are accidentally on the lower layer and you attempt to do this, nothing's going to happen, right? So upper layer selected, 50% opacity. Now, over here on the left, we have two tools that we're going to use. This little crosshair this is the move tool, and you're going to select the upper layer one more time. You're going to move the planet so that it's on top of the other one. Something like this. That's pretty close. Lower maybe. Like that. Next, on the left, you're going to, if you're seeing like unified transform here, you're just going to right click and then select rotation, right? So we're going to rotate this. Click on the image one more time, and it'll bring up a rotation box and a crosshair. I want to move the crosshair to the middle of the planet, like that. And then you want to just adjust the slider on the rotation box. So to me, these two now look like they're in roughly the same rotation. I'm going to click the rotate button here. We'll use the move tool to line these up. Like that. Set the opacity to max. And now our planet is easy to compare. Here is our early image, and our later image is over here. And we can see a few things are going on, right? Now, we're going to want to right-click and add a new layer. Make sure that the layer fill is set to transparency. That's the default, so you shouldn't have to do anything there. What we want to do is we want to find a feature that is moving, that is easy to identify. Right? The closer to the middle of the image this thing appears, the easier it will be to track, because then you don't have to worry about warping due to the fact that this is a sphere. So we're going to make sure this upper transparent layer is selected. We're going to select the pencil tool, and we are going to hold Control and then scroll our mouse wheel in so that we can get nice and close. I am looking at this object here, and you can tell it's a little like squiggle thing that should be easy to find. So on the early image, it's there, and on the late image, that squiggle is all the way over here. So that's a pretty big distance for that squiggle to travel, right? I would say based on this, like, how much of a rotation is this, right? Well, if it made it all the way to the end, right, from here to here, that would be a 90-degree rotation. This makes it pretty close. I would, to halfway between those two, I would estimate this to be somewhere between 30 and 40 degrees. Let's just say 35, right? And that's the idea. That's what you're doing. You are taking a look at one object, getting the rotation the same, and then comparing one feature. Again, we're doing this one. And this guy over here. One feature, and just asking how much did that feature move. There are other ways to do this. You don't need to use Gimp. An easy way to do this practically, and how we used to do it, is just print the two pictures out and compare them side by side. But using Gimp is, I think, the easiest way to do it using modern technology. That's it for me. You do not need to save this file when you're done. You can just exit Gimp and go on with your merry day. If you've got questions on how to do this, feel free to come to office hours and ask me to help you out. Thanks.